Hey Hatchlings, if you're not on TikTok yet, don't start, okay? Because I am shocked and horrified by the absolute disgraceful behavior that I have seen on that app. And especially the way that I have personally been treated by my peers over there. Like, that has been the worst experience I've ever had on the internet. Did you know that? So today I really wanted to just cover a couple things to completely and absolutely and utterly avoid when you are over on WitchTok if you do end up finding yourself over there. And number one, I need you to be able to find people who can produce their sources for you. That is probably the number one issue over on WitchTok, is the lack of resources, especially in like comparison to certain people making sensationalized claims. Like, why are we claiming that dragons and dragon worship has existed like 100,000 years before any other deities? Like, that has no archaeological basis in reality. Like, there's no evidence for these kinds of things. There's a huge lack of like literacy skills, okay? Like, hella lack of literacy skills. Nobody can read, okay? So because no one can read, all right, people are mixing up words together and they think one thing means something and it doesn't, right? So I'm gonna need you to have absolutely critical thinking skills and comprehension skills, okay? And make sure the people who you're like watching have those kinds of skills too and can like demonstrate where they're getting their resources from, because 9 times out of 10 over on WitchTok, it is just sensationalized content for you to keep watching. Like, honestly, the content that does the best on WitchTok is content that's like rage bait, content that's geared towards outrage marketing or towards like hooking you on emotions and really riling you up, okay? Also, like, you know, role play content in tandem with like witches and like witchcraft tends to do really well over there too. So you really never know if you're getting like a role play account or an actual like witchcraft account, okay? That's kind of the really hard part to distinguish over there. But I will say, it's not all bad. There's a lot of like creators over on WitchTok who I just absolutely love to watch, and I enjoy, you know, just scrolling through their pages. I prefer the witches who usually just like show their magic, like rituals, like candles and stuff, but you have to be really careful with that because anyone can burn pretty candles, okay? So there's also a whole nother like genre of that's just like, oh my gosh, like, don't scroll or like interact to like, you know, claim your ex is texting you back, or like, this is like a banishment candle like for the third party involved, like, you know, double tap to like claim. And I'm just like, no. No more claiming that. You know? And then like all of the whole like channeled messages that are just trying to sell you something through TikTok shop is just so disrespectful. Like, could you imagine if they were like trying to say like, oh, Elasapana with the Allah is trying to sell you this like necklace? Like, it is the same like level of disrespect, right? Like, it's just like everyone has their own like practice and deities that they worship. Like, why is treating one like disrespectfully acceptable and the other's not? Like, that doesn't, it's not consistent. It doesn't make sense to me. So there's so much going on over there that's just an absolute dumpster fire, and I have the absolute displeasure of finding out the hard way of how far gone people are over there, especially when you get to the dragon part of WitchTok. We just really need to have like a moment of silence for how many people who believe that they are like actual avatars of deities, or who believe they have like astral avenger teams, or who believe that they can give you readings and tell you like what dragon guardians that you have in your past lives and like pull out all the details. And it's just like, with all due respect, no. Like, that is like, at some point it's like, this is part of your journey. We can't purchase a shortcut. Like, do you understand where I'm coming from? Like, because over there they don't understand where I'm coming from, and they're coming for me because they don't get it, okay? But like, I know you guys over here are much more chill about that stuff, so that's why I like had to make this, because it's like, I know you guys understand where I'm coming from. There's a level there's like a level of like grounded in reality, and then there's a level of we lost touch with reality. Okay, and that is what I mostly run into over on WitchTok. It's really sad. There's a few creators over there who I genuinely just like absolutely love. I think they have great takes and they have great like helpful tips, but for the most part, like, WitchTok is just a lot of drama, and like who is hexing who, and like it's almost like you have to have some sort of like controversy or some sort of conflict with other creators in order to be like accepted into the pool or something like that. It almost feels like an initiation rite or some stupid shit, but like it's a really bad place to be. And I just wanted to make this video to let you know that like you're really not missing anything. Like the only reason why I would engage with like TikTok these days is just for news and to like stay in like touch with like, you know, kind of what's going on in other countries is like usually what I personally use it for, other than posting, because I do use it to post and I don't consume content on there anymore unless it's like content from usually my mutuals that I'm just like promoting because like I love you guys. Do you know what I mean? But like I'm just like I don't even know how to put it into words how beyond disappointed I am with the ethics of, you know, WitchTok, with how many people are running around over there calling themselves high priestesses with absolutely no true understanding of what that means. People calling themselves priestesses of deities that have not had like traditional priesthoods, especially within the dragon like niche part of it, right? So like, no, like if you want to be a priestess of a type of dragon deity, might I recommend studying Wadjet from Egyptian mythology. Other than that, like I really just think you should chill. You should really just take it easy, okay? Like because it's there's so much going on over there, and something about dragons like does something to people, you guys. Like and especially on WitchTok, like I've been like making content about dragons in like a witchy way for almost 14 years now, actually. And the craziest part about that entire experience is the shit that people send me thinking that it's real, okay? Like, and with all due respect, there is a certain line that you are allowed to have your belief systems, right? But there's also a certain line where it's like, what the actual fuck, okay? That's what I'm talking about. Where people tell me that I visit them in their dreams and they're telling me memories they have with me and their dream realities, okay? And they're emailing me this, okay? Like, this is like what was my life like early in the early 2010s, okay, on the internet. And it was a fucking mess, okay? And it's only gotten worse with WitchTok. Like, it's actually a fucking mess. I'm horrified. I'm so scared, okay? Because people are like creating their own little like pockets on the internet, and it's like it's a whole sinister operation, bestie, because like people have like their own little like pockets of like micro communities, or like micro niches I should call them, and then they have like their servers off the platform of TikTok that they like organize their shit on, okay? And then they like almost kind of like go to war with each other, and like, oh gosh, to the hatchlings who've been dragged into some of this absolute tomfoolery, I am so very sorry. Like, there are no hard feelings. Like, I could never hate you guys. Like, this is literally nobody's fault but a couple of bad actors. And like, I'm just like, wow, like people have way too much time on their hands to like be caring about these things. And like, why are you not studying? Like, why are you not focusing on like, you know, helping your community instead of like creating a moral panic for the community? Like, what are we doing here? And like, people thinking they're elders, and people thinking that they're more qualified than they actually are, people thinking that they are some special chosen one, some sort of starseed something. And I'm just exhausted at this point, and I just kind of wanted to let you know that if you are not on TikTok, please do not ever consider joining. The only exception again is to stay in, if you're gonna join for the news, hell yeah. But other than that, I just really would stay away. There's so many like people who I have like connected with personally who have told me that they have also ended up in like mental health hospitals because of a lot of the misinformation that is especially rapid fire spreading on WitchTok. And it's so sad to see because it doesn't like WitchTok doesn't like care about like history that happened offline, right? Like even history that is like happened like online but like off the platform, like they don't really care, right? And it's also a much younger demographic than people realize. Like a lot of people like think that my audience is actually super young. That's actually really interesting to me because the majority of my audience is my age, which is like late 20s, mid-30s to like mid-30s, because we like grew up together. Okay, so like that is kind of like the predominance of like my audience base. But when it comes to TikTok, the predominance of the demographic that's using like WitchTok are the people who are like minors and like young adults, right? And so because of that, we also have to understand that our brains aren't fully developed. Okay guys, like for the majority of my channel, like my brain hasn't been fully developed. Okay, so like let's just take a moment to like appreciate the fact that someone's practice and perception of like witchcraft, especially if their only resource is like the internet, like how impressionable some of these people are, especially with like rapid scroll content. It can get really, really emotionally charged really fast, and people really stop like caring about like what the actual truth is, or who's actually like historically valid, instead of like who has the most followers, who has the hottest takes, who has like the most viral content, who has like the biggest communities, like who has these kinds of things. And it's just like they play a lot into like the social like politics of it all. And so I just wanted to come on here and just like let you know that it's just like really dramatic for no reason actually, and the catastrophizing is the word that comes to mind. And I just want you guys to be kind of like aware of these things, because it's just like really sad how quickly people can get caught up in these things. It's very, like I said, emotionally charged, and you know, it can feel almost like a high, like people want to just like dogpile to have a sense of belonging, and people are really on TikTok for their own reasons to begin with, and it's just kind of like can be a very scary place. And there's also a lot of like really bad people hiding in plain sight, especially within these like back end communities and the servers and the comment section. And it's just something I want you guys to be aware of. You know, nobody should be positioning themselves as an authority over the deities that you work with. You should not be talking to people who are 20 plus years your senior. Please don't do that. I don't care how old you are, like just please like be so careful about talking to people who have a lot of age, like a lot of like years on you. Okay, like maybe don't have people in your DMs like so easily. Like some people are really like, oh my god, like feel free to DM me, and it's like that's great until it's not. Okay, like things like get really ugly really fast, and like I'm just trying to let you know that people will test your boundaries, especially when you let people in your DMs. Okay, like people are very quick to go to your DMs if they want something. Like there's no need, okay? Like there just isn't, right? Like, and it's part of the reason why like I personally have closed my DMs on Discord. Like I'm just not interested. Like with all due respect, like I love talking to you hatchlings, I sincerely love chatting with you guys, but I personally have just had too many scary encounters with people like coming into my DMs and me just doing my best to help people, and then getting myself into situations that really scared me and really scarred me really fast. And I don't want to deal with that. I don't want to open myself up to that again. And I just honestly really encourage like everybody watching this video to also just be really cautious like on the internet who you talk to in your DMs. Like that is going to be my number one like tip, especially when you're on WitchTok, is like if somebody from WitchTok wants to talk to you, like, in your fucking DMs, like, bestie, ask them why. Like, I don't think you realize, like, how bad, like, how ugly, how quickly that happens, okay? And, like, how, like, fast people are to turn on you and use those, like, DMs to, like, frame you if they need to, or cutting it out of context and using it to get, there's lots of power play and, like, all of that, because, like, the algorithm of TikTok is so frivolous is the word I'm gonna use, because it's also, like, facetious in a way of, like, it's teasing you and it changes and it's not the same. Okay, that kind of volatility makes people who have built businesses completely with a TikTok platform in a very vulnerable space. It's like, let's just be honest about this, right? Like, it makes a business vulnerable if this is their only platform. It just does. And I'm so sorry if you're in that position, because look, like, I get it, right? Like, I totally get how it makes a business owner, like, in a vulnerable position, right? However, I do strongly encourage to always get, like, an email list set up as soon as you can if you are, like, a small business operating that way. But, like, you gotta be careful, like, when algorithms change and creators change and, you know, niche communities grow, and, you know, WitchTok in and of itself is still a pretty, like, even though it has, like, millions of, like, uses under the, like, hashtag or whatever, it still is considered a niche on the platform, right? So you have to understand that there's going to be, like, niches within niches within niches, and people, like, carve out their own little bubbles and kind of things like that on, like, the platform in a more extreme way than, say, like, YouTube or Instagram, in the sense of, like, it's more clicky is the word that I'm looking for, actually. And I'm just trying to let you guys know that it can seem fun and it can seem community, it can seem like a fun way to engage, but, like, again, like, I really just would like to caution everybody to just be careful about the DMs, okay? Like, that's, like, truly the number one thing that I'm, like, trying to get across to everybody in this video, because this video is more so like I'm concerned for the mental health of the younger generation of pagans and witches. Like, this is just like a community report, to be honest with you. Hey, hi, hello. I've been a part of the pagan and witchy community here online for 14 years nearly, and I have never seen the types of scary concepts, the trendy belief systems that are actually really harmful. I've never seen it this bad, guys. Like, in my entire career, in my entire life, I am genuinely scared of a lot of the stuff that comes up on my For You page on WitchTok specifically, and I just, like, really want to caution everybody to absolutely treat it like entertainment. Like, WitchTok is not the place to go to, like, enter your priestess era, okay? Like, WitchTok is the place to go to, like, have a snack after a hard day and, like, fart around because you're, like, relaxing, okay? Like, this is, like, almost like, it's like a, what's the word, targeted entertainment, right? Like, what are your favorite things to learn about? Let's be entertained about those topics. Like, that's what I'm talking about. Like, please, like, pick up the books, right? Like, when I study with my Quran teacher, like, she tells me never to, like, learn about, like, Islam, like, from the internet. She calls it Shake Google, which I think is so funny. But, like, she's basically saying, like, we really have no idea who's, like, providing that information. And, like, even though, like, you're watching me right now, like, you still obviously have no idea, like, the information, right? Like, because you didn't look in the book for yourself, right? Or you didn't experience it for yourself. Like, you have to sometimes take my word for it, or sometimes take other creators' word for it when they talk about certain topics especially when it comes to like mythology and history and all of that. And so that's why like I wanted to kind of like pass off the tip that my, you know, Quran teacher gave me, and to always go to the books first, okay? Like, and TikTok is not even, should not even be on the list, okay? Like, you know, when I talked to my Quran teacher about like, you know, where can I go to like really kind of get like reliable material, she said sometimes YouTube is okay, but just make sure that the YouTube content that you get is like tied to like a reputable institution, or they're providing sources, etc., right? Because like that is the most important thing here, is being able to have the resources to trace the steps and learn about the information on your own time and in your own way, to make your own connections, rather than just being presented with a quick, easy narrative. And this goes as like, you know, surface level that some would consider as like, you know, crediting artists, right? Like some people, I would say most people on TikTok, they do not credit artists when they use artists like images or videos in creating anything. And these kinds of things really matter, especially like I really remember like being in college and having to like cite things properly, and now studying with like my Quran teacher, she's like, we need to go through all of these resources first, you know, like, so in Islam we first study the Quran, and then we study the tafsir, which is basically like a breakdown of the Quran and like of the meaning of the Arabic, right? It's more like in-depth of the Quran itself, right? So there's many scholars that will actually, you know, write these tafsir, and then we study them, and it helps us better understand the Quran. And then we also have hadiths, which are essentially reports, that is a science called chain of narration, and there's different like grades of like how authentic or how like weak a chain is compared to the others, right? But again, they are like not above the Quran, right? So like we always are going to go to the Quran first, and then that's the way that we kind of like work through the information, right? So like people who make comments about Islam who only reference a hadiths, I do not take it seriously, because it's like, you are not even referencing the Quran. What are we doing here? You know what I mean? And the same thing goes with any mythology, right? So you also have to take into consideration, like, did like genocide or colonization affect the records of certain like mythologies, like for example like Irish mythology and like the Irish language or things like that, because like you have to take these things into account when you do your research and doing your best to like recreate a practice, okay? And a lot of people are treating their practice on WitchTok as if they were playing Dungeons and Dragons, but in real life, and it's getting very scary. And so I just want to let everybody know, like, I am not affiliated with any of it. Like, please, like, I need everybody to know that right now. I'm so scared of that shit. Like, I blocked it, I moved on, and a long time ago, right? Like, this was over a year ago. We don't care, okay? Like, and I will always advocate to not even go there, okay? Like, let's not even go there, because I care too much about your mental health and my mental health to even open that can of worms, okay? So I know that this video was a little bit all over the place. I'm just kind of getting back into the swing of things, making videos again, because it's been like a month since I've like posted daily. So I'm just kind of like, you know, getting back into the swing of things. But as soon as we are able to, and as soon as I'm feeling a little better, I'm almost done with all of the bullshit cramps. But as soon as that's done, we will jump back into finishing the 31 days of Samhain. And thank you guys so much for just being patient about that with just the chronic health issues that I have. Like, I literally couldn't like thank you guys enough. The hatchlings are the best, the absolute best audience ever, okay? Like, I couldn't do anything without any of you guys, for real. So thank you so much for spending some of your day with me today and clicking on my videos and leaving me comments and purchasing like readings and supporting on Patreon. Like, all of you guys, like, I literally, like, you guys are the real ones, and I have so much gratitude for all of you guys. But my son is leaving and the mosquitoes are coming out very soon, so I'm gonna go run inside before they get me. But thank you so much for spending this evening with me and just kind of catching up, and please be safe out there, okay? And if you've ever had like a really bad experience like over on like WitchTok, let me know in the comments. I would love to know, okay? Because it's just been a real bad time, all right? But if you're new here, assalamu alaikum, marry me, and welcome back to your daily dose of DragonFaether. My name is Azura DragonFaether, the Draconic Priestess, and I've been practicing witchcraft for way too long. Woo! So many scary boogies. Oh no! But I'm here to share my experience with you after working with dragons since the 90s, and just my journey through faith and stuff like that, finding God again, and after being born Mormon and all of that, and giving you, I guess, a summary of my life story for some reason. But it's, like I said, it's been a while since I've made these videos, so I'm wishing you just a wonderful, beautiful evening from my home to yours, and I will see you tomorrow. But until next time, stay geeky, cheeky, and freaky, little hatchlings. Allah Hafiz, blessed be, and Amin. And please follow me so we don't get lost.